Hi, how you doing, folks? It's Mitch from Hard Intentions. We also have hardintentions.com where we have merchandise. We have prints such as the one you see in the background there, and shirts and some other stuff. So please check us out. And I'll give a shout out to Tommy Hall from Connected. He's printing our new Viking shirt. Hopefully that'll be done soon. I want to give a shout out to Tommy. Tommy helps a lot of guys out when they get out of prison. For a while, he ran a halfway house for ex-lifers and good man. I just want to give him a shout out. Big Tommy Hall Connected. I was sitting here thinking the other day, someone told me some shit about prison, and how it is now since I left. And, guys saying this yard's bad, that yard's bad, and for various reasons, And so you have mainline prison yards, even before I left, even though they're mainline, someone decides to say, well, that yard's no good. Because like C Yard in New Folsom was declared a bad yard. And I had a friend that went there just because he had a brother there on that facility. He was level 4. He went there, hung out with that guy. When he went down to level 3, I went to a level 3 prison and somebody stabbed him for being on that yard, even though it was a mainline prison. The incident, whatever it was, I could never pin down the facts of why that yard was declared a bad yard. Happened like 20, 25 years ago. So everybody that was on that yard, when that yard was declared no good, is probably gone. That's a long time to say a place is no good for whatever reason. And then I heard some guy showed up, out of the hole, like to make it good, and the guys over there stabbed him, so homeboy went to another prison. They stabbed him for being on that yard, even though it was a mainline yard. So a lot of times, they say, oh, you can't be on that yard because there's there's people that are no good. Maybe they got weird sex charges or whatever, Okay, I got to dig that. Guys are no good. They're on that yard. Eventually somebody might step up and do something. But here's my thing. If somebody's concerned about who's on that yard and now they're on the street, big shot in prison gets out of prison. Now he's on the street. Well, guess what? You can go on the computer and find out these dudes are no good, where they're at. They'll give you their addresses right there in the town you live in. Like if you live in San Diego or wherever, it's right on the computer. Megan's Law, all that other stuff. They tell you who they are, where they live, and what their charge was. So instead of sending kids out to, whatever, guys to attack guys in prison or saying, hey, that yard's no good because there was a guy in that yard that had a weird charge and you guys let him skate and maybe they know about it, whatever. Now you're on the street. Handle it. And you don't have to go find some kid to go take care of your problem. You can handle it. If that's the issue, that really blows my mind because there's thousands of them out here in the world. There's more of them out here in the world in your neighborhoods than there are in prison. And, I don't advocate, anything. I'm just saying that if that's an issue for somebody, why isn't it an issue out here? Why aren't they pursuing that issue out here? Like if something is an issue in prison, how come it's not an issue now? Why not? I don't get that, And I tell you what I think is it's just another way. It's the shiny object. Look at my shiny object over here. Don't look at me. Look at this. Look at this thing. And that's something. That guy's no good. That guy's no good. Did you hear what happened over there? That's just it's a method of distraction, they distract you from the government does it. Everybody does it. People learn this shit, how to manipulate other people by distracting them with bullshit, drama, saying people are no good, saying, this guy didn't do this guy did that. But you know what? The same dudes doing that shit, when they get out, they don't pursue that shit. They don't pursue it, only do it in there. It's a survival thing, I guess. I didn't really give a fuck what people had to say about anyone. I judge motherfuckers on my own and on their own merit, And if I found out some dude had a shitty case, then I'll figure out a way to handle that. Especially if he was somebody that was next to me, pretending like he didn't, he wasn't in there for some fucked up shit. And there are times when we found out and, it got dealt with. But I never made it my mission to clean up a yard. And I don't think, I think the guys that do it, maybe they feel like, they genuinely feel like, hey, I want to clean up this yard, make it. But you know what? You're never going to have a yard, speaking for white dudes, of 100% solid dudes. You're always going to have weak dudes. You're always going to have dudes with funny cases that are hiding out. And so look what's happened. Because all that crazy fucking madness, now you got dudes, 70% of the system had become SNY. And now they have mixed yards. So many dudes were in SNY PC yards that they decided, hey, we're going to mix these people back together. So if you're in a low level 1, 2, some level 3s, I don't know about level 4s, you're going to be on either a program yard or a designated non-program yard. And if you're on a designated non-program yard, you're going to be exposed to some violence, gang banging shit, all that, stuff that you're not going to like very much, especially if you're new to the system and guys don't know how to see what's going on. They don't know how to politic their way out of a fucking wet paper bag. They're going to be used up pretty much. There's a good chance of that. So now you have guys that are saying, look, there's scrap everywhere. So at least on these yards, we know who the fuck they are, right? And, they choose to live on these, they call them 50-50 yards or whatever. I know a guy, his son just got out of prison. He was in San Quentin. It's a 50-50 yard. And he's like, hey, he had 4 years to do. He ended up doing like 2.5 because he got his GED and some other stuff in there. He's like, I'm not going to fucking dedicate myself to living in prison. So I figured, fuck it. They put him on a level 2 yard. It's a designated program yard. He doesn't know much about prison, never been to prison, doesn't give a fuck about prison. He fucked up one time and now he's out and he has no plans of going back. Half the guys that push politics in prison, they end up on them yards anyway. I mean, how do you think 70% of that system became SNY? And out of that 70%, how many of them guys you think are ex-prison gang members or guys that ran around when everybody was in the shoe? They ran around the main line like, hey, I'm running the fucking yard, or they're pushing hardcore politics on dudes that just didn't give a fuck until it came time to go. Then they became SNY and checked in. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So, my question is, you're out here on the street. Like I said, what's your deal? All them issues that are in there, same people are out here in the world. And they're easy to find. And have bogus paperwork. I don't particularly like certain groups of people. I don't care for dropouts all that much. I don't care for guys that got funny charges, sex offender shit. I don't care for guys that snitch on motherfuckers to save their own ass. but they're there. They've been there. They don't think they weren't on the main lines when I was in prison, because they were. Every now and then we'd find one. They disappear. But what happened to old boy? Oh, found out this and that about him. Uh, you know, so if you're in a joint and you got some guy trying to tell you what to do, why don't you ask him to do it? I told a story about some youngsters that they say, hey, what do we do if old Jack tells us we got to put in some work? Old Jack was a fucking junkie motherfucker with life without sentence from Philadelphia, who came out here to California, got a case, got life without. He says, I got the yard. He learned later on that he didn't have the yard. I told him, if he tells you guys you got to put in some work, tell him to show you how to do it, and you'll do the next one. I forgot all about it. 2-3 months go by, come through the work change back on the yard, and they all ran up to me and they're all, hey man, bottom line, that's what they did. He told me, you guys got to put in some work. He wanted some guy stabbed that owed some money to another race. And, in the end, he was going to come up. He was going to get some free dope or something from that race. And, they told me, why don't you do it? Show us how to do it. We'll do the next one. And he didn't do shit, just like I told him. He got butt hurt, give him dirty looks. And they laughed. They thought that shit was funny. And they learned right there. Motherfuckers that think they're running shit, at least back then, all you got to do is call them on their shit, and they expose their hand. Ain't about nothing. Them dudes are along for the free dope ride, Don't get me wrong, there's dudes in there now that will kill you. And there was dudes then that would kill you. But most of the dudes, when I was in the pen, you got to remember, most of the gang members are locked up. So you had guys saying, oh, I got this, I got the keys to the yard. Most of them are fucking lames. And check them on their shit. And they would show their hand. So, yeah, if it's important in prison, why is it important out here? That's my thing, And if it's that important, why do guys got to have other people do it? Why is some guy sitting back saying, hey, we got to have someone do this? Why don't they do it? Very few guys want to step up to the plate and do what they ask other motherfuckers to do. Just know that, most guys, they're not going to step up and do it. The ones that have, hats off, I knew guys that said, hey man, I never asked nobody to do something I won't do myself. And some of them showed you, that they would step up and do shit, they earn that respect that way, there are guys in there that run the show on yards that ain't about using people up. If you're in the mix, you're on the radar. If you're not in the mix, give them a fist bump, say what's up, do your thing. But yeah, so if it's important in prison, why ain't it important out here? It's the shiny object. It's to distract your attention so you don't focus on that dude. He doesn't want you focusing on him. He doesn't want you asking questions about, why do we got to do this? Or why do we got to do that? Yeah. Ask yourself that. Ooh, look at that. I'm fading out. Yeah. Ask yourself, I got some phone calls from people that are in prison and watch my channel. Kind of blows my mind. So if you're in there watching this shit, or you're going to prison, or if you're on the street running around in the mix, ask yourself, why does this guy think he can tell me what to do? Why is this guy running around acting like he's got a license to do this shit? Ask some fucking questions. You want to be putting in work for other people? You want to be putting in work for yourself? You want to be putting in work that's going to take you to prison forever? Or you want to put in work that's going to build your fucking future? And when you're young, you don't think a lot about that shit, but you should, And so if you're watching this channel, you get a little something out of it, just ponder that question. you know. I know guys that are in crews, they got youngsters around them, their older cats been there, done that, and they got their youngsters' better interest at stake. Most of by clubs, you know. Once they got a guy in a club, they like the youngsters, they try to lead them down the right road so they don't have to go down that fucking path of prison and misery, you know. But there are a lot of motherfuckers out there that just want to use you up. So ask yourself them questions. One, if it's important, how come he's not fucking handling it, right? And if it's important, if it was important in the streets, how come he's not doing the same shit on the street? If it was important in prison, you know. Like I said, there's dudes on Megan's Law. There's other ways to find out who's who. Fucking handle it, you know. Don't sit around and act like you're a fucking tough guy and ride on some reputation you had, you know, that's probably bogus. You know, like you have a reputation from when you were in prison. Well, fucking big deal. Prison ain't shit. It's just a place to be, you know, because you fucked up. And if you think you're running something in prisons because guys let you think that, you know, don't ride on that reputation, you know, and don't let motherfuckers, don't let them ride on that reputation. Because most of the time, dudes that were in prison, they get out, they inflate what they were in the joint. Like they'll tell you, hey, I was this, I was that, and 50% of it or more is probably bullshit. It's inflated. You know, like I stabbed somebody could probably be I ran up behind some guy and scratched him. It comes off as an assault with a weapon, but with superficial wound is a lot different than poking a hole in some guy trying to kill him. So if some guy's portraying himself as a fucking killer and, you know, I stabbed this guy, I stabbed that guy, but really, you know, I ask him, did you kill him? No, well, all you do is make it harder for the next guy that wants to get that dude. You know, you got dudes around, ask questions about them in your own mind. You don't have to ask somebody, ask them in your brain, and you'll usually come up with the right answer. Don't fuck your life off for some fucking lame that thinks he's a tough guy. And don't let him convince you that he is, because 90% of the time he's not. Real tough guys don't act like that. You know, real tough guys earn that respect and you know it. You can feel it. You can know it when you meet them. So get out there, do it hard, ask some questions, make the right decisions, live your life, and do it hard. Have a good day, folks.